Hi guys, Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me at Drayton Park, and today what I want to cover is a shot that you'll have seen a lot last week at the British Open. And it's a shot where the ball is buried down into the grass. So what they had was a lot of long fescue grass if you were hitting it offline, and the players around the green had to cope with a shot where they're really losing control of it, of the golf ball a little bit because of this situation, because of that long grass tangling around the golf club. They had to play this with real precision. I want to touch on a few points and a few things they'll have done in their setup position, in their swing, to try and make best of this situation. So they weren't losing as much control of the ball flight, and guaranteeing that the ball does at least come out of this and leave themselves a putt rather than another chip or a bunker shot. So the reason why this is quite tricky is we get lots of long fine grass, and the ball tends to settle at the bottom of the grass there, so we need to dig a little bit more. The other issue here is because we have this long grass, as we try and swing down, what we'll tend to find is the grass will grab round the club, especially around the shaft, around the hosel of the golf club, and what that wants to do is actually close the club face. So for me as a right-handed player, that would cause the ball to go more to the left, it would cause the ball to go lower, and it would cause the ball to roll a little bit more. So we've got a few things we're going to do to try and stop that happening, to try and make sure that club face comes through and it's still square and we've still got some loft on that golf club. We actually are going to be de-lofting it, but I don't want that club face closing and de-lofting it more than it needs to. Okay, so club selection first of all. I've chosen a 58 degree with 10 degrees of bounce. I only carry a 52 and a 58 as well as my pitching wedge. If you've got a 56 and a 60 degree, you'll find that your 60 degree lob wedge will have less bounce than your sand wedge, and that will work a little bit better when that ball is buried down into the grass, the same way it would if we're in a plug lie in the bunker or a bare lie where we need that club to dig a little bit more. The other benefit, of course, of using the lob wedge is we're starting with a high lofted club. So the shot I'm faced with here, we've got about 20 yards to the flag, so I've just flown over the back of our 10th green. I've got about 20 yards back to the pin. I've got about 15 yards to the edge of the green. The one slight saving grace, I guess, is before the green it's a slight upslope, so if this does land a little short, I'm hoping it would kill some of that energy, some of that speed to try and keep that ball from rolling too far. Because what we'll find in this is the ball is going to come out a little lower than it would do on a normal pitch shot with this club, and therefore it's going to run on a little bit more. I think anything really within 10-15 feet of that flag I'd be really happy with, as long as I've got a putt rather than another chip, or worse still, hitting it too far over the back and ending up with a bunker shot. So we've got the club. There's a couple of things we're going to do in our setup. I'm going to grip that club just a little bit further down the handle to gain control. So on this one, I'm just going to grip an inch and a half down the handle. What that's going to mean is I'm going to be tilting more from my hips. When I create a little bit more pelvic tilt here, the swing will actually be creating a slightly more up and down, upright swing. And that's what I want to make sure this club is digging into the rough, not getting as much grass trapped between the club and the ball, so I get a better contact. So I'm trying to make a slightly more upright swing. By gripping lower down the handle, it allows me that extra bit of pelvic tilt, and that club will be going more up and down rather than around my body. I'm going to also be gripping that club a little bit firmer. Now, I'm a big advocate of a light grip in basically all short game shots around the green apart from this one. Okay, so we need to grip this a little bit firmer because that rough is going to be trying to grab the club and close it. We've got to grip it a little bit firmer to try and limit that or stop that from happening. So we've gone down the handle, we've gripped it a little bit firmer. The other thing we're going to be doing with our swing, or the only thing we're really going to be concentrating on our swing, is trying to create a more V-shaped swing. So similar to what I was trying to do when I had a plug lie in a bunker or a bare lie. So please check out those videos. They've got a lot of relevance to what we're talking about today. Now, Mickelson calls it the hinge and hold. It's actually that the wrists are cocking. okay, rather than a hinging. So a hinging movement would be more right and left. I'm actually trying to get more of a cocking movement here. So I'm trying to get that club to work a little bit steeper, a little bit more upright on the backswing. So it's a cocking of the wrists, and I'm going to be holding the angle between my lead arm and my club shaft. So I'm not going to allow that club to pass my hands as I would do in a lob shot or a bunker shot, where we're looking for maximum height. We're trying to use that loft, we're trying to use that bounce. This time I need that club to dig through that rough. So I'm going to be cocking my wrists and trying to hold that angle. The last thing I need to do in this is hit it a little bit firmer. Okay, that club is going to be slowed down because of the thick rough. So I need a little bit more acceleration than you would normally get on this 20-yard shot here. I would always encourage you to therefore have a few practice swings to the side of the ball. Make sure you don't get too close to the ball. We don't want that ball to move. If we did cause it to move in our practice strokes, it would be a penalty. So I'm going to stand a couple of feet from my ball, and I'm just going to try and get that feeling in a similar lie of my wrist cocking. Okay, so slightly more upright swing. And I've got to get that feeling of a little bit more acceleration through. Okay, cock the wrists and a little bit more acceleration through that rough, because it is going to grab the club. Right, let's give it a go. Ball's still going to stay in the center of my stance. I'm gripping a little lower down the handle to tilt more from my hips, a little bit firmer, and the first movement is to try and get my wrists cocking. Now I'm pretty happy with that one. That landed up on the green, short of the pin. It's released a little bit too far, and it's left me about a 15-foot putt. But the important thing is, it is a putt, okay? So I'm there just off the edge, about a foot from the edge of the green, but I'm in a much better situation than I was in. So let me try one more. I'll drop that one. Oh, blimey. Right, we'll give this one a go. This one might not work out quite as well. So this is even thicker. I can hardly see the ball there. This is maybe a little bit closer to what they're facing at Royal Troon. So tilting more from my hips, an earlier wrist cock, and I'm trying to hold that angle. Let's give it a go. Do you know, I'm pretty happy with that. That was a real stinker of a lie. It came out lower, and it has released a little bit further, so that one's left me 20 feet rather than the other one about 12 foot from the pin. I was never going to gain as much control over that one. It was really sitting down in that long grass. I could hardly see the ball. But what you'll have seen on video, there was more tilt from my hips, that earlier wrist cock, and an accelerating blow into that rough. They're the key points I want you to think about if you do find yourself in this situation on the golf course. I hope that video's helped, guys. If it has, please make sure you give us the thumbs up, and do subscribe to the channel for plenty other content coming every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5:30. Thanks, guys.